Good morning, everybody, and it is nice to see week on week coming and taking care and doing the awareness program as a right talk. We have a series. Our intention is always, as I keep telling, our tagline is guiding you to achieving your financial goal, and that's where our purpose is. These webinar series is a part and parcel of those because we believe uh, where you invest, how you invest is not our intention, but yes, you start investing for your goals. You start investing to achieve your goal. I was having the induction yesterday in one of a corporate. Most of the people were young, below 3 years, 4 years experience, and some of them are new. So I was trying to say the same thing, that most of us, all of us, most of the time, we if I go and ask them what is your goal, very few people will come and tell me that I'm sure what is my goal. And goal is like, I can tell you, is like your Google map kind of it. When you're starting your journey, you will know where to go. Then only Google map gives the route to you. What is the best route, what is the less timing route, and other things like that. Okay, and then you choose the route. I remember when I go at least two or three routes parallel, it will keep saying that. And depending on our own behavior, our belief system, and other things, we keep changing our routes. Okay, so I'll give you my real example between me and Anil. Whenever we go, of course, all of us, even though we are in the same car, we all will have our Google Maps, and he always prefer to drive the shortest time. He says this is what. And I always believe that I will take the main roads. So I'll just see which is the main roads and all, because I always think once or twice, because it's my past experience, and that's where the belief comes in. Whenever I have taken sometimes shortest route, the routes are so small. And I was telling, it is like they're testing my driving skill, that I know how to drive or not. I was sometimes, it is so agitated that I thought of my leave my car and walk myself, because they never ever give what is the width of the road. And it was coming into such a small gully. If one side the scooter and cycles are parked, if I continue, they will touch. So somebody, that's a nice part of India, they were able to help to put the scooter on the side or some other way, and somehow I managed. So these are the things which we do on a daily basis. So I prefer to go 10 minutes late, but I prefer to take a bigger width road, because I know these are the main roads, so I will take those. So similarly, in our life, we should have a goal. So even though today's my session is on about impact of a budget, but yes, I personally believe, and that is my also a goal, is to make people, how to help them to achieve the goal, and that's where my happiness comes. So it doesn't matter for me, the person is, a lot of time people keep saying, Rachna, you take a person who is even 1,000 rupees investing and a 1 crore investing is the same way, because I believe for that guy who is saving 1,000 rupees with me, for him that 1,000 rupees is more than a 1 crore value. When we are doing in Excel, we don't realize the value of 10, but for that it is really too much. So I try to give the same importance for a person, whoever, however they do. And I feel very happy when the young people comes and tell me, auntie, I have just got a job and I want to do, because that's made me very feel happy that they are going in the right track. So part of a budget I am going to do. So I'll let me give you my disclaimer itself. When the this, because as a part of a topic, we normally give a topic in 2 to 3 weeks in advance, so we will be able to put it in social medias and other thing like that. But what happened, budget came on first, and we as an office, of course, being part and parcel of in this industry, we all was listening the full speech. Then we were waiting for a fine print. Some of them are coming in the fine print, the still are yet to come fine print. And then I said, there is nothing is there, Sanjay, for a budget to do. And I said, Sanjay, let us cancel this, because I don't think so I'll be able to run for a 1 hour, because there is not much on a personal finance side. So, and then there was a debate in our mind, we should do, because we have already set the topic. Then they says, when we have set the topic, so we'll go ahead. So I said, okay, I can vouch it for it. Day before yesterday, I must have gone through more than 30 or all the budget impacts, all the fine print with the CA, with the all those presentations. I've tried my best with my team also giving across the presentation, but I felt it is not so much. So I have added little bit on tax planning, and I will be happy. So at this time, I will have a more question answer session. So if you are, feel free to do it across. In case if you have on tax planning and the budget. So sometimes it's like a every time I always says pre-election and post-election, and pre-budget and post-budget is a similar like a how you have a in IT. No, we used to say that you give this demo, and with the demo based you always buy the software and other. Nowadays we have a free trial for 1 month or free trial for 15 days, and then you see across and you buy it. But when you actually start buying and start using the actual product, you realize there are so many mistakes. So when I was working in a Wipro and Infosys before Right Horizons, we used to always say that actually Microsoft always give the beta version as things to, because their testing effort is taken care by us. So that's a way I'm just trying to say. So pre-budget was they hyped it that they may increase the tax and all this stuff. And then you made so much of negativity, and then they said there is no news, it's a good news. And that's what it happened in this time, that no news is a good news. As in a budget, it went well. But of course, as a personal finance on an individual basis, it may not be so much impact, but in the long term, they are looking how to India to have the highest growth, highest independent country. That's where the we are going across. So I'm just going to give a overall level of the budget, which is not only talking about personal finance, overall budget, and then personal finance, and then I will talk a little bit of on a tax planning part of it. So this is what PM has told how to make it more transport based things, giving a more focus on those we have. So I'll give you another example. I don't know all of you are aware because most of the people I know, they are the people who knows me quite a lot, participate. So I am doing in women entrepreneur course in IIM. So last month, every month we have a classes. So last month we have an economical professor. He was explaining us actually how the Indian economy and the focus is going towards and all this stuff. So he was trying to explain how even though RBI is an independent authority, but still works quite a lot under the pressure of our ruling government. So what happened, our intention of the government is to become top 3 GDP and have the our economy has to grow much high. So when the GDP is doing very high, it means a simple economics I'm trying to explain is, if you spend more, you will have the all those sectors will start growing more, and if the companies are growing more, the country grows. Okay, so that is the one of the reason which we feel that they are trying to say how to give a in hand more. So if you noticed, nowadays new regime of the tax has come that okay, people prefer to have a in hand more, so they spend more. Similarly, you can try to see across, they are been trying to do that ki, okay, I know even though for as a personal level I don't like it, they have made it now PF is a mandatory. Before it was 12%, or I used to think at least people used to save 12%, and both the side it will be 24%. Now it is just in 1800. A person who is one of my customer have a 2 crore salary, she's just paying around 1800. And I said, what's wrong with you? He said, no, that's a company has made it as 1800, and I'm not able to create the good wealth. And if you actually notice, it is in the long run not good, because PF is subsidized by government and it's giving you 8.5% return as a tax free, and they just made it 1800. So for a government perspective, it is maybe both the side good. Your in hand is going high, so your expenditure is going high, and their subsidies are going low. So this time also the focus is how to make India more going towards the independent country and making a higher GDP. You are taking a higher growth. That was our intention in the part of it. So productivity link incentive they have given to the different sectors. I personally tried my best to go through all those things, but I have not. I keep tracking, maybe it's a GDP, or you can say inflation and other things. How is the job? As on today, the job has not able to create. So last 2 years, the jobs has gone down. Okay, so they are saying they will create 60 lakhs new jobs. So good news, and the trend which I have seen recently very good is, previously our trend, I can give you again example of Anil itself. We both were working and Anil says that I wanted to start Right Horizons, even though he planned from starting and he made the alternative, he made a corpus to the lifestyle will not change. But both our parents was not so happy because it's still believe that doing a job, getting a regular salary is the best part of it. But when I meet nowadays very youngsters, including my kids itself, they always believe that okay, I wanted to be freelancer. You can see nowadays there are so many people wanted to be a freelancer. They don't want 9 to 5 kind of job. They are wanted to live in their own happiness and a freedom level. So yes, the other way of skill development and jobs are coming, but that is not as per the what we are expecting, because last 2 years we have lost lot many jobs because of COVID, and especially hospitality business. I know one of my customer who is in a pilot, and I was very surprised to know pilot salary is not even 20 to 25,000. And he says that's what it is. Rachna, people don't realize it. It is that's the salary is all about, because we get salary, and I know personally because I am an investment banker for him. He invests quite high. So I said, how you invest? So he says, we get the salary only number of flying hours. So now, last 2 years, number of flying hours was so low and almost nil. So we never get it. So make them in the role, so they just give this much, because that's the way it is. So this is the another year where they're trying to say we have to increase the jobs and the production to the 30 lakhs crores during next 5 years. You have noticed there's as a country we are having a lot of deficits. They wanted to raise the, I can say, the money quite high. So they are trying to do even through LIC IPO, which is going to come. That's another part of it. The good thing is, which I felt very proud also, because whenever we go abroad, every country have their own aeroplanes, and you always feel that okay, if you're going to Qatar, it means whatever you have, Qatar Airways, you have Indian Airlines. So it was not doing good, and I'm assuming with the Tata coming up, it will take care. So that is also trying to help overall level. So they are bringing new things to make sure that our deficit of overall country has reduced. So what was the highlights? I'll just make it float. So what was the key highlight for the budget is that as I told you, physical deficit is 6.9 of GDP they wanted. And most I can see that how I can tell you that the deficit in a normal term I can explain you. I always tell a person, like a small kid, like my son, also 10, 14 years. Now he's 14 years old. When he was 10, I have explaining him the best part is of how deficit works is like you are earning 10 rupees, or like I used to tell that your daddy and mom is earning 10 rupees, but I'm spending around 12 rupees. So what I do? So I borrow. So when I borrow it, my I have to pay the interest also on those, correct? So and I have been doing, so that's where the deficits of the country level also goes the same way. So how the country level goes is the same way as you can think of your house level. I always says how much we are earning, how much we are spending, and then there is how much investment we can do. It's giving me the same thing is the country also. So they have a direct tax, indirect tax, and how they are getting and how they are giving the schemes to make sure that everybody is happy. So that's the same way the budget works for them also. Even though like how we have a company PNL, they also have the similar one, and that's where they're trying to say how to become a larger economy over the period. 2025, they expected we should cross 5 trillion. As of today, we are around 3 trillion GDP. So PLI is production link incentive schemes, which they are coming into different sectors. I am again giving a disclaimer. These are the highlights. Okay. and each highlights what they say will come into the finer print. The finer prints have not yet come, so we don't know how much it is going to impact or not. So I'll give you one more example. Actually, in the speech, in the budget speech, it never came anything on dividend stripping and the bonus stripping. Okay, and yesterday when I was going through that, actually the finer print has come on dividend stripping and the bonus stripping. And again, the how it is going to impact the people, it is not yet come. So that is a very, very major part, at least in personal finance, I know, especially all those people who are selling their own companies. So doing the capital gain, how to take care, I'm talking about the people who sell it in 100, 500, 10,000 crores. It's a very common, people used to use a dividend and a bonus stripping. So those are the things has not yet come. So similarly in these, the finer printer has to come. They are looking more on a digital prioritization. So they says that they will have a digital currency may come. The passport also digital may come. Good thing is, which is last 6 months, I can say the hype is going on and on. A lot of people coming back to forth to me and saying that what happened, Rachna, you don't recommend the cryptocurrencies and all. And I always says that as per SEBI, it is not legal, but in this budget, it is becoming illegal. So now it's coming as an digital assets, and people can buy the digital assets. Now they have confirmed that the taxation will be at 30%. So that is another thing which has come on an overall level. They are trying to improve the lot of infrastructure side, where the things that how they can make the highways much more beneficial. And we being doing at least 3 to 4 I can say long drives and some small vacation across, like a here Coorg and anywhere close by Mangalore and all, I can vouch it for that. Last uh, 8 to 10 years, that roads has improved quite a lot, and they have been doing very good. And sometimes I also get scared when I'm driving there also, that 100 to 120 speed, sometimes you don't feel inside it is you're going at 120 speed also. So they are been giving a master plan for those things. They have changed the money minimum tax, which is more from 18.5 to 15. This is mainly for the corporates, because even you are on loss, you have to keep this reserve as a minimum tax. Tax exemption for the startup has done, because they wanted to give more importance to the startups, and Bangalore is one of the top level on the startups. This was very clearly new before budget, and now also continue that they wanted to give the electric vehicles as the highest I can say preference to do that. So what are the impact on a personal finance side apart from crypto? I can say it is, there is no tax change in the tax slabs. So we still have continuing the two different tax slabs. So you should know very clearly, because yesterday when I was doing the session, people were not even aware there they can change and how many times they can change. So as of today, we have an old regime and we have a new regime. So old regime means that old types we used to have a tax slab, and you have a deductions, ATC, ATD, you have a HR, sorry, house EMIs to be taken care of, section 24. You have to take care of ATE also. Those section, if you want to avail, please take and continue your old regime. I don't know you have taken, because now you have a proof time. Lot of proof time, people are saying that why don't you go to the new regime, even though they are giving a calculation to you the old and new. If it is not much, try to see next 1 or 2 years, because my thought is within few years, maybe 2 years or 3 years, I don't know, because as the election years are going to come, they says that UP election is coming, so there are so many changes. They have not done it because of these two also, but sooner or later we all will go move to the new regime, because they just wanted us to become a simplified tax filing thing. So there is no deduction, no exemption, you just pay the tax. So that's the way it works. So till they are giving a beneficial, so please do that. I always believe at least for that sake you will save it, and that is a good way. But even if you have taken a new regime, which is no you don't have to show the any proofs or something, you can just shift only once You can't keep swapping between old and new every time. So that's another thing you have to realize yourself, that make sure you are taking a right decision when you are saying that I am just doing once. So if you are in old regime and you have gone to the new regime, you cannot switch old and new again and again depending on which is the tax is low. You can try only once. That's a please make sure to do that part of it. Another few important point which is listed, previously the taxpayer was able to refile only once, 1 year. Now they have increased that period to 2 years for refiling. The tax rebate is gone a little higher and provided more for disabilities. So previously, depending on your disability or dependent disability, they had a slab. Now they are trying to give a more slab to that. Deduction for a state government employees, the NPS has raised from 10% to 14%. That is only for state government employees. Okay. They have taxation on virtual digital assets, as I told, a crypto and any other currencies. TDS on property sale has come. So this is the another thing. Last few days only I have started finding. I never found last previously so many years. One customer came to me and this is at Rachna. I have sold the what you call one property, and my stamp duty is much higher than what I sold. Then I said, how come it is possible and all this stuff? So he says, no, nowadays, previously, I'm just giving example, previously your government valuation, let us say, I'm just giving example, Banagata Road, for example, the government valuation is 10,000. But normally the real valuation will be around 14,000 or 15,000. And you will be always saying a higher than the government valuation. Now, slowly, I have seen the government valuation is equal or more actually than what you're selling. So, your actually stamp duty has to be on the government valuation and the sale amount, whichever is higher now. So, indirectly, you have that guy, I know he is sold at 2 crore, but his stamp duty has gone at 2.8 crores. So this is another way I've realized it. The government has put the value. I don't know what basis they do valuation, but the valuation is gone on higher. So now they have told that TDS property has to be. Previously, it will be on the sale amount if the stamp duty is means lower. So now it's becoming other way. Now the stamp duty is going because the government valuation has gone higher than the sale amount. That's another change has come. Long-term capital gain surcharge is capped at 15. This is the good for many people who have got the ESOPs and these companies are not listed. Okay, I'm just giving example. A lot of us, I know they have been working in a startups or I can say the company they have sold. So when they are selling, because these are non-listed stocks, non-listed stocks previously was at 30%. Now it has come to the 15%. It will help a lot of people who have a ESOPs or anything which is non-listed. The same thing I am going in a more details now. That was the overall budget details, then personal details. Now I'm talking about how each of these points is going to impact. The taxpayer can file within 2 years, updated the returns. So let me give you sometime example why somebody should do the refiling. Okay, but don't miss the date of filing. If you miss the date of filing, you cannot do the refiling. For example, if we have a 31st, 99% other than COVID-19, 31st July is the filing date. So you should be able to file by 31st July. If you are filing, you can carry forward your losses. You can refile it. If you have not filed by 31st July and even you do it on 1st August, you cannot do the refiling. So I keep saying people, try to file the returns on time because you have at least a thing. If something goes wrong, you can refile it. Okay. This enables the taxpayer to file the updated returns in a refiling, even it is a previously it was 1 year, now it's become 2 assessment year or a 2 years. Tax relief for a disability, as I told you, this is the things which they are trying to help people with the dependent and the normal, the payment from insurance scheme of annuity and provided to dependent differently able people will be taken care. On the fine print we have to show what is the maximum, they have not declared yet. The tax deduction on the government employees, I already told you, it is gone to 10 to 14%. This is mainly, as I told you, it is on cryptocurrency or any other currency, but this comes under, so they don't use word any more currency. It has to be an asset. So they call digital assets. Okay. So these are the major impact on this. I have already told you how the 15%, which is not been listed. So it's called non-listed stocks, has to be capped at 15%, which is a very good. Previously, it was added to your income. Most of the people, it will be a 30%. So this is details on a capital taxation on the RI is resident Indian and RI is non-resident Indian. It's not much of a difference. It's a similar one. So I'll just go to the next. The sector which is impact the highest is automobile, banking, of course, digital thing has taken care, consumer good, housing finance, and logistic. Very marginally going energy. I felt it should, fine print should take care of energy side more, health, IT, and telecom, and chemical, insurance, and metals are neutral as on today. So I'll just take another session before I take it. I have any question on budget, then I can do a little bit on taxation, tax planning perspective. So any questions on this? On the budget?
Ma'am, we have two questions in chat box. I think
Yeah.
one is related
What
to what would be
what would you
considered as.
consider the digital assets? As I told you, it is the highest risk. It's more on a crypto kind of currency. So we normally says we should never do anything which we are not aware of more than 5%. But whenever, see, at least my customer, even till budget, it was not legal. Now we are, our research team is doing how to do it. They always says that why don't you do it? So I said you do in the things which is very risky is, even if it is become zero, it should not impact you. So what you will consider digital assets is the all those. So there are three different types of a place where people do the digital assets going across, because you can either invest in the company who is finding those tokens, you can directly invest in those tokens, and you can easily take through mutual funds also. So that's the way it been coming. So the difference between long term and short term, there is a for an equity, if it is, I'm talking about shares or a mutual fund, if it is still 1 year, it is treated as a short term, which is 15% taxation. Above 1 year, it is a long term, which is a 10%. But for a debt funds and other things, and a gold and other things, it will come as a 3 years. So 3 years is treated as a short term, 0 to 3, and above 3 years is a more than thing. So below 3 years, it's just added to income. Whichever you are in slab, that slab you have to pay the tax. Above 3 years, it is as I was showing you that you have both the side after indexation or before indexation. So you have to take care, check both the things and then take it across. So what is another one? What you give some insight on selection of good medical insurance along with a few recommendations. Prashant, it is actually depends on what you are looking. Of course, I believe that nowadays the good thing is all the good medical insurance are having both the cashless also and the reimbursements. I think we should look at insurance for 2 to 3 different angles. Like a somebody asked me, and which was very valid point, and I have only not seen that disclaimer is, if I have to do the any organ transplant, it will take care or not. When I think of medical is only the critical illness and the hospitalization, but organ transplant I have never done it or not thought of, I can say so. So this I have learned only last 1 or 2 years, and I started saying, okay, very few. I am telling you, there are only three different whom I know are giving organ transplant. There are only two of them which gives a Ayurvedic kind of what you call hospitalization, which is linked. So depending on what kind of things you are looking in a medical insurance, so things what you should look at in a medical insurance is what is a per day limit you have it in ICU, what is a per day limit in the room you are looking for. These are the things we, because sub limit nobody checks it across, they will just say okay, I've taken a 5 lakhs of insurance and then go ahead. But we need to, when you are buying it across, look at those things very, what is the pre and post surgery they are going to give and how much they are going to give. So I look only 2 to 3 things, of course, because we also go to the alternative things. I don't believe much on Ayurvedic, allopathic quite a lot. So it's like acupressure, Ayurvedics, they are taking care or not. You have to make sure in case you're going, what is an ICU and per day room rent is eligible. At least these two things I just always look at. Medical insurance take always apart from your corporate, because that is going to give you the, in case something happens and corporate is, you are not able to continue, so it is easier to do. There are two reasons, because by the time we are out of the corporate we will be 45 and 50, and most of the medical insurance we are not able to get it, because by 40 45 people have some or other things, like it can be BP or sugar or thyroid or something small thing is there, and then it is very difficult, the premium goes higher. So it is okay to take a smaller medical insurance, continue which you may not be using it, and then top up when you are able to do it. I have it from ICICI Lombard. There are but many more people. Apollo was always, I can say, premium in a medical insurance, but now Apollo is taken by HDFC Argo. So there are many more. You have to look at which is more benefited. If you can give me, I will give you the exact family floater, which is the best for you. So I answered all of them. Another one is there is any working rule or guidelines for selecting a new? So yes, it's a simple thing. Whoever is a CA, or nowadays I know both, even the Form 16 projection itself, they are giving new and old, because in our office we do the same and all the CAs are doing the same. I'm talking about HCA and Math 3 for customers whom I know. They are in different IT also. They are getting the both the projection and see that which is giving you the highest taxation or the lowest taxation, and then choose it across. If it is too much of difference, there is no point in debating. But if you say if it is 10 or 15,000 difference, I'll give you a simple example of mine itself. It was giving only 12,000 difference, and I knew that because I didn't do it another things which they didn't included in NPS. So as soon as I included my NPS, my tax become positive and in the old regime. So the good point is depends on your how you are being saving and investing as per the tax deductions. Please choose it across, but make sure when you're choosing a new regime, you can come back only once to old. You cannot keep going. That's what you have to remember, that part of it. Anything else? Otherwise, I'll just take one small part on tax planning, and then I will go ahead with the all other queries. So I think so tax planning is seems to be very common. So I'll put it into the behavior part, which is my again my all-time favorite. So this is another session which I always like it. I believe this, and this is my personal belief, that people who create wealth is never be because they earn good, because they have a investment mindset, long term view for their own way. So I'll give you a simple example again. Yesterday, my friend, and she's of course used to report to me in 2002 in Infosys. Okay. And then she is now in Australia, and she called me and she said, Rashna, I wanted to start my retirement planning and all this stuff. I said, fine. So I just asked her simple question. So she said, actually, I want you to help me out to tell me if I come back to India, is it better to achieve my all the goals, or if I continue into Australia, it's a better to continue because my daughter is 10 years old and I have to decide within 2 to 3 years. And of course, she's so small, not very small, but she's small that she doesn't know she want to continue studies in Australia or not. So the daughter is not in that sure that we have to continue. So I said, fair enough. So I asked the same thing. I said, you tell me how much you save. So this is the another myth I always seen, even being in IT itself, I have seen. People used to previously think that, okay, if you work abroad, you save quite a lot because you have a currencies, you have all those things. And when I was talking to her, she says, Rachna, and I of course feel privileged. I keep teasing my brother itself, and I says, I work in stay in India like a king, and you stay in US like a beggar kind of it, because I keep telling, of course, everybody have a different style of working or whatever, but here you have a much more flexibility to do what you like to do. You have a flexibility to work, and of course you are with your own people. So what I have realized, she was not able to save money. Maybe her, if I convert into Indian salary, it was much higher. So sometimes whenever we are trying to see, not only Australia or US, anybody, I'm just trying to say, you have, why we are working, why, of course we are working. First level is to make sure that our family and us are happy and able to make sure they are achieving their goals. That's a very important part of it. So these five aspects, if we have it in our mind and in our behavior, I can write it. Even though I don't know you, you will 200% achieve it, because whoever is my friend, family, customers, and myself have these five. All of them as over and above achieve, and we are God grace in that limit that we can start giving to the society back also. So first few time is always talk about our close family relatives and make sure that our goals are done. Then we will go next to the society level. So first is set your goals. Very important. Set your goals. Manage risk. So normally what we always say is that we will get a high risk. Rachna, give me the high return. This is again yesterday's customer, and he called me from Pune, and very surprisingly, very normally, customers or prospect doesn't tell me this, but he says, I got a reference, but I'll not tell you who gave me the reference. I said, fair enough. Normally, if somebody is giving a reference, they normally tell the person's name. But he says, I'm 32 and I just quit my job and I just wanted to go across the globe and enjoy. I said, that's fair game, but you have to realize it after you finish all the vacation and everywhere, what you are going to do. So he says, no, I wanted a 32% returns, and that's what I have seen in your portfolios and all the stuff. So I told him, you won't believe it, his prospect, I don't know him, and whose reference I don't know. I told him directly that you are coming to the wrong person. I said, I don't think so you have come. Maybe there are many more companies will give it to you 30%, but we are not here. And then he says, why you say so? I said, I have, of course, our PMS is coming in top two, top four, and we are being giving 50 to 70%. We are what we call alpha, means above the benchmark is 24%. But we have to see 5, 10, 15 years returns. I am not looking only last 3 years returns, because last 3 years return may not come the next 3 years. So if I am able to give you a good, as per me, 10 to 15 years returns, which is, it can be you take a rolling return, you take a financial plan, financial year returns. This is what I've done very recently. Again, one research on Sensex, Nifty, 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, 25 years, rolling return financial year, nothing has moved more than 14%. So I was telling him the same thing. We have to realize in a longer term, maximum you can think of 14 to 15% returns. And if you are taking any, including our PMS on a mid and small cap, it is 18 to 20% return. So you expecting a 30 or 32% return year on year, at least I will not take it, or neither I expect somebody should expect that from our side. And then he winded up saying that, I like your transparency, so I will go with you. But I'm trying to say, it is an example of yesterday, but I'm telling you all also, managing risk is the one way. Please try not to see very short term returns. This is another customer. She is, I'll give you again example. She is 32 or 33 years in a Vijay Bank, actually. And she said, Rachna, being a banker and I was an accounts person there, I have never done other than FDs. I said, good. So she said, now I'm paying a lot of tax and now I'm getting in hand only 3.5%, 4%. So I wanted to do others. So I said, very good. So because she's also 72 years old, so I said, don't put directly into equity. We'll go through mutual fund or something like that. And we'll see at least capital gain is 10% instead of paying 30% tax. Then she says, I have just invested in my bank only because they told me the last year return is 28% for this fund. Why don't you invest? And I was thinking, a person who's telling me that I have been in a bank for so long, I have never done other than FD. But just because somebody said the last 1 year return is 28%, she invested quite a huge amount. And she's now telling me how to remove it. And I cannot remove it because there is an exit clause and that fund is not performing. So sometimes, please, I'm not saying people are telling lies. I never tell that. And I think they are telling the facts, but telling the limited facts. So 28% return is right. Last 1 year, it is 28. Even I can say 74%. But is it that little same will give it to me next year? May not be. So please try to understand what is a risk. Whenever you are taking a risk is linked to returns. Look at long horizons of maybe minimum, at least I can tell you, 5 years perspective. If it is not a 5 years perspective, go to balance fund, go to debt fund, go to bonds, but not on a equity, because normal equity cycle is 5 years up and 5 years down. So we should look at above 5 years only. Manage debt and loan. That's another thing I have been seeing. A lot of people, of course, home loans and others where you get a tax benefit, it is less than 7%, less than 8, it's sort of okay. If your home loans are above 7%, this is the least time, please change them. They, even though they are floating rate interest, they say they don't do it until you ask for, because they ask us some conversion fees. Please do it. Personal loan, credit card loans. Nowadays, new a lot of fintech companies has come where people tell me, I have never used it. It's like a doing a P2P loan or doing a credit loan. They are paying 14% returns, 12% returns, and it is too high. And they don't do a daily averaging kind of risk. So it's a simple interest and return. So it is much higher you pay. Try to manage not to have loans anytime. Make sure you are not paying EMI more than 30 or 35% of your net salary. Otherwise, with the smallest your work, you will have a lot of stress level. Start now, anytime. A lot of people comes and ask me, Rachna, why you didn't meet me before? I'm so late. Now what to do? There is nothing called late. Whenever you start, that time is the sun is arise. So please start now. Long term and the long view term discipline is give the power of compounding. That is another things which I always feel it is very good. So please do it. I'll just put one video of long term and things, and then I'll take up.
If you want to go around the earth and start with 100 meters on the first day and double the distance every day, how long do you think it will take? 1 year? 10 years? Let's find out. Within 19 days, you would have covered 39,321 kilometers, while the equatorial circumference of Earth is about 40,075 kilometers. You would have traveled around the world in less than 20 days. But what if you stopped after 10 days? You would have hardly covered a little less than 77 kilometers. This is the power of compounding. Power of compounding can help you to create a great wealth as well. How to leverage the power of compounding for maximum benefit? Start early and invest regularly. Nisha invests rupees 5,000 every month since the age of 25, while Nilesh invests rupees 7,000 every month since the age of 35. By the age of 60, both would have invested 21 lakh rupees. Assuming a return of 12%, Nisha will accumulate 2.75 crore rupees, while Nilesh will get only 1.19 crore rupees, which is 59% lesser than Nisha's wealth. This is why starting early is important. To create a wealth, start an SIP in Equity Mutual Fund and remember,
in a multilingual country like India, cricket is a common language 1.3 billion people speak. But do you know, this most revered sport in India has many similarities with investments. Let us have a look. Can you imagine a team of only batsmen? Never, right? We need a perfect blend of batsmen, bowlers and fielders to win the match. Similarly, to succeed in the game of investment, diversification is the only winning strategy. Just like a balanced team, we need a balanced portfolio to give us better returns. We can't hit the boundary on every delivery. Singles are just as important as boundaries. Similarly, we should invest in debt and equity. Equity provides us high returns when the market is good, and debt provides us consistent returns when the market is tight. Interesting, isn't it? Based on time, there are 3 different formats of cricket, and we select players based on their track record for each format. Similarly, we have different investment horizons, whether short or long term. We must select funds according to our goals only. Lastly, just like a captain is necessary to lead the team, similarly, we should have a professional to lead and guide us throughout the game to ensure the suitability of products we buy. So, we hope.
So this is the thing you can try doing yourself, that you which part of a wealth creation phase you are coming. My expectation is you can start giving your goals one by one and see first how to come financially fit, and then it will become to the independent. So these are the different stage of wealth creations, and we have to see how we can go up, become more flexible and take one step forward and create the wealth. Because whatever said and done, if you have a financial freedom, your power of, I can say, independence and decision making comes much clear. It never have an issue on this. I'm not saying that you should have a so much of crores of money to create a power, but because of our lifestyle. So you have to know that, like, for example, for me, I don't, of course, I'm not a person who spend more or something like that, but for me, I know that much, that if I wanted to spend or buy something, I don't have to think so much, or I have to go back and check in my bank it is there or not. If I buy from a credit card, can I pay tomorrow or not? But yes, I know that I have been saving that much regularly, and I can be a testimonial by itself, because when I started in 94, I was getting 1800 bucks, and my dad told me that you spend save 25% of whatever you're earning. And last 26 years, I have never missed 1 month also, and I have been doing that. So don't make sure that, okay, if I'm earning 1800, let us me paying only 400 4000 rupees. So if I go in the quantum, then 4,000 must have become 10,000, and 10,000 must have become 15,000. But when you make a percentage of your earning as an investment option, it goes a very big value, because when you start earning bigger amount, the percentage also goes higher. So always try to make sure that you invest as a percentage of your income, not as an absolute level. I'm happy to have you any questions regarding a budget, also wealth creation, or any other thing. Thank you. What is the tax rate of equity share dividend? Normally they are deducted. So dividend has been changed, I think so, last to last budget. Previously, the dividend tax was cut by the corporate, and they give it to us. Previously, it was free. Then it become that till 10 lakhs dividends are free. Now the dividend tax is not being paid by the corporate. It is taxable in the receiver's end. And that's where the tax is coming into. If you're in 30% bracket, you will be 30%. Yeah. You all have rights. If you can put hands up, or you can unmute yourself and tell me any other queries if you have. What's the difference between liquid funds and emergency fund? there is no difference. There's a difference in how you say. Okay, liquid funds, there are debt funds comes under a different categories. You have ultra short fund, liquid funds, and all those things depending on what the papers they are storing inside. Like how you say in equity, it's a large cap fund. In what that means, they are going to invest in large cap companies. So similarly, in the debt funds, they will tell that okay, it is the papers which is going to mature in 15 days. I have all the bonds which is going to mature in 3 months. These are the bonds which are going to buy, which is for the 5 years. So depending on the liquid funds, ultra short funds, these are the things they will look at to see that what are the things. So we say that emergency fund means emergency, there is nothing called a fund. So I'm saying for an emergency we keep it in a debt fund, because there is not an exit loan. We always says you are able to remove money in day notice and get it across. That's yesterday one of my customer came and he told me one thing, and which is a very good thing. So she was telling Rachna, I wanted to invest around 20 lakhs. So I just asked as usual, like how you have asked. I said, oh, you wanted for an emergency fund. He said, no, I felt emergency is a very negative word. Why don't we say unforeseen cases? So it can be most of the time, maybe I may have to give it to my family or something. So we will say that not a word emergency, even though in a financial planning we use the word emergency funds. He told me, Rachna, it looks very negative. So I feel we can change that into unforeseen cases. And I felt it was a very nice way of putting across. He did that to me, and I learned that new thing yesterday. Uh, what was another I answered is, does taking education loan make sense from a tax perspective instead of using saving and other things? Yes, it makes sense, education loan, because interest is whatever the interest comes, it is no limit. They can take a tax benefit. Again, the question is a disclaimer again, as long as you are taking into the old regime, the new regime doesn't have that option. But I wanted to tell here, Avinash, if the person is in US, it makes much more benefit. We can have somebody on, because I have done this for a few people. They knew who are already maybe uncle, auntie, or whatever. So they become the guarantor. They have it around 2%. So it was very easy to do that part of it. If I do SIP for 10 years while closing SIP, I need to pay tax? Any? No. The good point in capital gain is always when you sell or when you redeem, we use a word, or withdraw you can do, that time only capital gain is being triggered. It is not like a accrued basis. So taxation comes normally on actuals or on accrued. Actuals is the where means you sell it, you got the money, and then you pay it. It's like a foreign mutual fund or stocks. That's where you take care of taxation first in first out. But like a for an FD, it is on accrued. Even your FDs are not been matured, but you are supposed to pay for that interest in that year only. Okay, ma'am, there was no today's webinar detail in Telegram channel. I'm so sorry. I will ask Sanjay. Please make sure, please add it across in our Telegram also. I'm very sorry for that. And thank you for Dipali to joining across and informing us. Yes, Pradeep, in every budget, there is an expectation of increase of slab. Ideally, instead of any other more rebate, IT payer have a SOPs indirectly. Reduce interest rates, loan, better insurance. Yeah, there is a wish list goes more and more, Pradeep. Much more. You will surprised to know that in our advisor group before the budget, the news was going on that they are going to make a short term to 3 years, and that was creating a panic in overall level. So what happens, I always feel that they just spread some negative news, and then afterwards we felt, oh, it didn't happen, it's so nice. And that's what it happened this time also.
So is there any lobby, Rachana? I want to know, is there any like a NASCOM like that, right? IT payers, any grievance cell goes to the finance ministry and takes up the case of IT payers saying you should give some rebate stops to them?
It should be, I'm sure they must be doing. So let me give you one insight, which I also came to know maybe a month back or 2 months back. Because as you all know, me and Anil is ex-Wiprovite and I'm ex-Winfi also. So we have one of the customers. Of course, most of the CXOs are there. So then I was speaking to one person and she says, "Do you know that Balaji has moved to the government?" I said, "I didn't know that." He said, "Yes." So good point in this is the government has started taking people who are practically in those lines. So I know the person as a Balaji who was in Wipro 3 years months back has moved to the government committee which is going to talk about the taxation on the salaried people and the accounts on the salaried people. So good thing is she was explaining, I don't know how many layers it goes till your finance minister or a PM, but that committee is minus two things where they get the details from the people who are and who was in this industry and how they can benefit across. But yes, there is a grievance of a PMs. Anybody can do it anytime. My dad has done twice or thrice. At least you get the response. I may know, may not be resolution, but response comes. I can bet you on that. But good thing is, as I told you, Balaji, because we know him very well. So he is moved from, and I was very surprised at being corporate. He was around 28 years in Wipro and moving. He says, no, that is the one thing which I felt at least I can give back to my country back. And I felt it is a good no. I never knew that they are taking a lot of input from these people. If there is no tax now to close, if there is no tax now to close SIP, there is any possibility for the future? See, there is a two different question. I'm assuming this, what I have written. If I stop SIPs, okay, there is of course no tax. But if I withdraw the SIP amount, then there is a tax, okay? And when you're withdrawing the amount, you will say that it is a long term or a short term, depending on that 1 year or greater than 1 year, okay? So I'm assuming that's what the question is all about. And what are the opportunity in budget? What kind of services Right Horizon gives? The Right Horizons, normally that's one of my reason I normally don't give the Right Horizons details, because I believe people will start thinking, this my perceiving notion again, that I'm doing more for the Right Horizons services perspective. But yes, my intention is you invest anywhere, wherever you want. But Right Horizon is 18 years old, wealth management firm. Our focus, as I told you, it is more on making your goal achieve. So we do financial planning. Financial planning is to try to see what are your goals, what are your assets, liabilities, and how much you can save, how much you can invest, and then you achieve those. We do wealth management. Wealth management talks about you have a lump sum money and we manage those. And we have a PMS license. It's like a product, how you buy a mutual fund. We do have a PMS where that's what we do it across. About fees is as per SEBI, because we are SEBI advisor also, PMS also, and financial planning. As per SEBI, there is a very clear things. A customer can choose either ways. They want a pure advisory or fees based thing, or they wanted a distribution base. So indirectly, I can say you the revenue model for us, or average, it comes around 1%. So if I am taking a no fees, the brokerage will come 0.8%. Otherwise, we try to charge a fees of 1%. So when we are charging a fees, we normally give a direct funds where your returns will be around 1 to 1.5% higher, 1.2% higher. What is the difference between SIP and mutual fund? There is no difference. The difference is the mode. Mutual fund is a product. You can buy one time also, you can buy regularly. It's like how you go, no? In a bank, people, if you ask your parents, they must have told that, okay, I can go and buy the FDs. So it's like a one time buying a mutual fund. If I do a recurring deposit there, it is like an SIP. So they have done the same thing. Like in a FD, you can do one time or you can do recurring deposit. So similarly, SIP is a monthly investment and you can do one time, but mutual fund is a product. Ma'am, I have chosen a new regime. Can I switch back to the old? I don't know. Depending on you, if you are comfortable with the new regime, please continue. But anybody who have a home loan, taking an interest benefit, without fail, continue old.
Ma'am, I have to send this question to you. So, I've heard that, in new regime, and I've observed that my tax deduction is more as compared to old regime. Is that so?
Can you send me the details? I will compare it. I'm not sure. You're saying that new is higher and old is lower.
Yeah, in old regime, my tax deduction
So
was
please
less.
continue old. Why you wanted to go to the new? That's without
Okay,
an issue.
so yes, ma'am. That's why I'm asking this. I've chosen new one, this one new one. So can I switch back to old regime?
Yeah, but
Okay.
you can switch only once.
Once in a lifetime or what?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've just chosen from old to new. So now I can choose
That's
new
another
to
thing.
old, and
Thank you,
that's it.
Pankaj, bringing this up. A lot of people have told that in my company, I have told you what to do and all. I know company, if you have told new, so form 16 and everything is generated as per them. But you still have a time to even change in tax filing time. But as he says, but you can do only one change, but you can do that also. So please take the decision very carefully. If you want our help, I will able to help you out what you should do it. We can speak and tell you, because it's a very personal thing. I can't tell on a generic level. But yes, you can change your regime while tax filing also.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, I would like to understand more services if you can share more details. Yes, Rajesh, I will ask Sanjay to he will call, he will send, or I will make sure any of our team members calls and tell you. I will write my name and number. I forgot
Ma'am, I
in my,
already shared the.
yeah. So if anybody wants to speak with me or email me, I'll be happy to do it. That's I love helping connecting people and all this stuff. So it doesn't matter. But only thing is, in case if I'm not picking, you can be 200% sure that I will call you, but maybe little delayed.
Ma'am, we have one more question in chat box.
Yeah. Can we refile old financial year ITR also? Yes, you can. Still, it is open. Refiling is open. Thanks a lot. It is always a privilege to see all of you coming week on week and doing. Sometimes it make me pressure also, and but I love reading more to learn myself new, and that's what I love. And that's one of my target for myself is every year I try to do 2 to 3 different new certification. That because I love learning and giving you. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy with your family. Spread happiness and stay safe. Thanks a lot. Be happy, and if you need any questions, please write me and call me anytime. Our team will help you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Where we can say replay, I will ask Sanjay will send you the detail of the video and he will send it across the things for survey. If you can give the survey, it will be great.